I can rock with that. Give me some love right there, Rachel. It's all about the strategy. You know what I'm saying? And I think whatever strategy you choose, whether that's my strategy, your strategy, that strategy, this strategy, I think it's two things. Make sure it's the right strategy for you and the best return for you in your future.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And you've built, within the last 2 years, just on one particular stream, you've done about $30 million. And so I think your strategy is going to look different from someone who makes $50,000 a year.
For sure. And remember, when I started, my first job was making $41,000 a year.
Come on now. Where'd your first job? You remember?
My first job was clerking for a judge. So right out of law school, I got a clerkship with a judge.
Okay.
State judge in New Jersey.
Yeah.
Loved him, learned so much from him.
Yeah.
And it's like immediately you're the boss, right? So I'm telling lawyers what to do because I'm representing the judge. Yeah. So it taught me leadership and he taught me a lot. And I was making barely any money. Yeah. So at this point, I actually moved out of my house that I owned, moved into this part you'll love. I moved into.
Why I feel like where this is going right now? Well, you're not gonna like this. Oh, but you'll love this. But you ain't gonna like this. But you gonna love this. Like, what in the world, Rachel? Just enjoy the show.
But we moved from my home to a basement apartment.
Okay.
While I was clerking for the judge because my husband was making $100,000 a year.
Right.
I wasn't working because I was in law school. This was right before we got married right before my third year of law school.
Okay.
So he was the breadwinner and I was going to school.
Love it.
And then, we graduated. He wanted to leave his job. It was absolutely making him miserable. And I was like, do it. Like, we can live a little tighter for a while. And trust me, this is going to be great.
Yeah.
And this is where my saleswoman comes in. Because I'm always like telling my husband, it's going to be great. Yeah. We going cake. Like, just give me some time, right? And he's like, all right, I'm with it. So he's encouraging me. He's helping me. He's in school now. Okay. While I'm working and doing this job. And we lived in this basement apartment. We got a tenant for our house to cover the mortgage. We turned in what did we have, like an Acura Infiniti. We had an Infiniti FX35. I loved that car. That was my first new car that I ever bought.
Love it.
And so turned that in, was driving the Nissan Altima with 100,000 miles on it, which was, my husband is a car dude. Right now, this man has a lot of cars. And I don't even know how many. I think he has like 4 cars and 5 motorcycles. I don't know. I've lost track. But anyway, he's a car dude. When I met him, he was driving a Range Rover. Okay. Then he went down to the Infiniti FX35. Then he's in a Nissan Altima. He's like, ever since I met you, my car's getting whacker. What? We going the wrong way. Right. So I'm like, no, but we gonna go back. We gonna go back. It's a curve. It's a bell curve.
That's so funny. What is he driving now? What's his favorite car now?
Now he's driving a Porsche something or other. I know it was expensive. I don't know what kind of Porsche it is, but it's one of those 2-seater things, and it's like the hot one. He's gonna be mad at me that I didn't know which one it was.
I love it.
We have that and a Mercedes AMG, like the 7-seater, because we got mad kids. So.
Mad kids. How many kids?
We have 4.
4. So you go from school, $300,000 in student loan debt, working for a clerk, $41,000, downgrade to a apartment. Your husband downgrades cars like crazy. To now, to where just last year you all did 8 figures in income. The year before that you did 8 figures. This year you're on track to possibly do far north of 20 million. The title of your book, which is the reason why I wanted to come on the show, is because when I hear this title, I fringe a little bit. So I had to do a little bit of research on it because I'm like, But the title of your book was "We Should All Be Millionaires."
Yes.
And when I hear this come from certain people, I fringe because I'm like, wait, are you even one?
Mm-hmm. Well, yes.
You know what I'm saying? I know you are. I know you are. I'm saying, but when I hear
come correct, right?
You know what I'm saying? Yes. One, are you one? 2, what's your philosophy on becoming a millionaire? Because I think oftentimes, I'm just going to be real, in the Black community, we look for the shortcut. And we're not willing to honestly put in the work to build a credible character, strong integrity business that brings value to people. And so I cringe a little bit because it's easy to make $1 million, but also at the same time, I've seen people make $1 million and then screw their people over. But you're not doing that. And I was like, okay, let's get her on the show. That's a very bold statement. And I truly do believe this. I remember when we made our first $1 million, I was like, wow, this is This wasn't easy, but it wasn't hard neither.
Exactly. Like, this is not nowhere near as impossible as people think it is.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I was like, well, wait, let's go for another one.
Yes.
Like, well, dang, that wasn't hard. Mm-hmm. I'm curious, where did that philosophy come from that we all should be millionaires?
Yes. Well, I had to fight my publisher for the title because they wanted me to say like millionaire mindset or something. And I'm like, have you met me? It needs to be bold.
Yeah.
And I want that reaction. I want it to be almost polarizing, right? So it grabs attention because to me, this was, this is a manifesto. It's saying like, we need to pay attention to our money and make different moves. And when we make those different moves, we're going to have big results, right? And so here's the other thing too, is like, I totally believe in marching in the streets. I fund some of my friends who march in the streets. Mm-hmm. And I feel that funding is required, right? For all of the causes we care about, for all of the things we want to change in the Black community, right? Yes. For us. And so to me, it's like, it takes money to make everything that we want to happen. Yeah. And we need to get that money. Yeah. It is accessible to us. It's far more accessible than we realize. We just choose to accept that we're making less, right? So like you were saying, doing it with integrity, taking action, right? Really committing, doing all of that. And I still want the shortcut. Like, I still want it the fastest way possible.
I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I've made money the long way and the take long way, the exhausting way, right? Yeah. I've made money a lot of different ways. And I've also tried it different ways. I've had so many different business models over the years. And I've also coached thousands of clients who have had lots of different business models. And I have formulated a pathway that is like take you from 0 to 3 million. What is the fastest step? And it's like 7 levels, right? And at this level, you do these things. Wow. And at this level, you do these things. And this is what I teach in the club. Wow. This is what my second book is going to be about, is teaching this path. Because the first book is about, we can do this. We just need to pay more attention. We need boundaries. We need people not wasting our time. We need to have a support system, right? Like, what are the conditions that we need to all become millionaires?
That's good.
Let's create that in our lives. That's what this book is about. And let's start taking some action towards it, right? And then, the next book is going to teach all of the how. But there's some how in the first book as well.
I mean, the how is important.
Yes.
And I think that my problem with shortcuts is if it's only a shortcut.
Yes.
But I believe that I wouldn't even call your way a shortcut. I would call it's a strategic route.
Yes, exactly. To me, you know how people will be like, well, what's the way to do this? Okay, well, I have to do all these things. What I do is I start with, what do I want?
Yeah.
I want to solve these problems. I want to send my kid to all the extracurriculars that I want to send them to, right? I want to be able to drive this kind of car. I want to live in this neighborhood. I want to have a backyard, right, for my kids to play in. Yeah. I want to pay for my mother's rent. I have a list of things that I want for myself, for my community, saving wise, investing wise. They were all in this list. I literally had an iPhone note of all of the things that I wanted to be able to do. And I just added it up. How much monthly income do I need to be able to do all of these things? At the time, it was like $300,000 a year was the salary that I needed to be able to do all the things I wanted to do. And at the time, I was probably making like $100 from my business, what I was netting after paying everybody, right? And so I'm like, okay, great. These are the things that I want. What is my fastest path? Okay, now that I know what I want, let me assess what I have. I have these skills. I have these talents. I have access to this audience. I have this network, right? Like, whatever it is that I have these people on my team. How can I take these ingredients? It's like, you go into the kitchen. This is what we got. Right?
And how do we work?
How we gonna make a feast out of whatever we got in the kitchen, right? And so